All right, guys, this is the Ferrous Industries rear luggage rack, if you will, for the mighty DR650. A couple of notes. Read the instructions. If you find that this is not wide enough or not long enough or whatever, and you begin the install, you own it. You are going to need a 6mm Allen, a 12mm socket, a 14mm wrench, a 12mm wrench, and a Phillips screwdriver. We're going to remove both side panels, the seat, and the 2 rear grab bars. Hold on to this grab bar when you bust this loose. Next, we'll unbolt the turn signals from the grab bars. You'll be using your 14mm wrench. Maybe not. Okay guys, a little bit tricky on the right side of the bike, or the throttle side. This is looking underneath the rear fender. There's a little, try to get out of the way. There's a little plastic tab thingy that you got to be careful with. That you pull it out. It takes a little bit of work. Be gentle with it. Pop that free so you can separate those 2 wires. One's leading to the back tail light and the brake and whatnot. And but anyways, that's one thing you're gonna want to pay attention to. Now we need to unplug the turn signal lights. On the right side of the bike, when you trace that blinker wire up through the frame, it goes through a couple of zip ties, if you will, and then is folded over right by the air box right here. And there's a little tab on the part that stays on the bike, and you lift up on the back of that tab and then pop that little piece out, and then that's the end of that turn signal wire right there, and that's on the right side. And don't get fogged in on this white wire down here going up and down the bike. This is my garage door opener. It actually sits in here, but that white wire is my doing. You won't see that on your bike. Okay, without getting long-winded, the left side turn signal wire goes up through there like that. Same deal that was on the other side. On the underside of the fender is that little plastic clippy deal that holds the turn signal wire in there, and then another set of wires that goes further back to the tail light. So that little clippy things on both sides. Okay? All right, so that wire, undo that clippy deal. It's wiggling through here. You have to loosen this reusable zip tie, and then it comes down, and the connector's right up under here. That's where that connector is for the left side. You lift up on that deal and pop that free, and then you can wiggle it out. Short bolts go up front, long bolts go in the back, with a spacer between the rack and the frame. Okay, even though I've already done this, this is the time to find out if this part's going to work for you, because if it isn't and you want to return it, you can't have mounted this thing. So per the instructions, it says if it's too long, too short, not wide enough, whatever, figure it out now. But I've already tested it, and of course that's going to fit perfectly because Ferrous Industries knows what they're doing, and I ordered the correct part. And just for what it's worth, you guys, these I don't know if you can see it. They already have Loctite on the nuts, which is nice, so you don't have to do that. I'm just finger tightening it for now, so I have some flexibility. Alrighty. Spacer goes between the frame and the rack. And then your long bolt goes in there. Like that. Spacer. And then we'll get our little Allen wrench and tighten it up. All tightened up. Now it's time to mount the turn signals and rewire it. Okay, turn signals go in that small hole right there. Don't put your nut on yet. Feed that through. Put your nut on. Just finger tight for now. Same deal, that hole, wire it through. Bolt on. nut, I guess. Then we'll tighten them up. Okay, getting the wiring back together was a bit more tricky than I anticipated. It comes out of the light right there. I just kind of came down and got back underneath the fender as quickly as possible to join back up with the additional wiring that runs to the back light, the tail light, the brake light, whatever. That's going to be the same on both sides. And then snaking it through the frame, getting it back through the original zip ties and back into the clip. The original wires work, but I will tell you this, because of the different light location on the rack, they're a little bit higher, and I'm not sure, maybe even a little bit farther back, but the wires are barely reach where they originally were, but they do reach. Okay, so you just got to get back online, get back with your other cables, that little clippy deal underneath the fender that I showed you earlier, get that back secured, snake it back through just like it was before, go through the zip ties, and then clip it back in. I want to show you guys something on the other side too. Okay, so this is the left side of the bike, clutch side, shifter side. Coming through this area was a little bit tricky, and then right here, it was very tricky to get the wire back through this area and back into that zip tie. But I did find it helpful to have a Bud Light, a pair of needle nose pliers, and get it through there. And then I came through where it originally was, and then dropped back down in here and clipped it back together where it was supposed to be. I just also got done testing that the blinkers worked and I didn't mess up any wiring. So now it's time to put back on the seat and the side panels. And on these side panels, let me see that little hole in the side panel plate? There's a little nub sticking out right there. And your side panel's got that little nub goes in that hole. So, just takes a little bit of feeling. Ferrous Industries rear rack for the mighty DR650. Absolutely perfect fit. And that's what you should have left over. Your original grab bars and the 4 bolts. Period.